Vols dreamed of visiting this city. You know the one. The city plastered all over social media, in every travel magazine, and on every must-visit list. The city of romance, of art, of breathtaking history. I saved up. I planned meticulously. I booked the perfect little Airbnb. I was ready for the magic. But what I found wasn't quite the dream I had been sold. This is the story of why I regret visiting one of Europe's most beloved destinations, and why the reality of travel is often far different from the fantasy. Let's start with the crowds. I knew it would be busy. I mean, it's one of the most famous cities in the world, right? But I wasn't prepared for the sheer volume of people. Everywhere, all the time. From the moment I stepped out of the metro in the morning until late at night, I was swimming in a sea of tourists. The iconic landmarks, those beautiful squares and monuments I had seen in countless photos, were almost completely obscured by a wall of selfie sticks and tour groups. It felt less like a cultural experience and more like waiting in line at a theme park. Trying to get a simple photo without 100 strangers in the background became an Olympic sport. There was no space to just stand, to breathe, to take in the grandeur of a place that has stood for centuries. Instead, there was a constant pressure to move, to make way for the next person, the next group. The quiet, contemplative moments I had imagined, sit-in a historic piazza with a coffee, were replaced by a frantic, bustling energy that was honestly just exhausting. It felt like the city itself was gasping for air, suffocated by its own popularity. And this feeling extended beyond just the main attractions. Even wandering down what I hoped would be a quiet, hidden alleyway, I'd turn a corner and find it just as packed. The narrow streets, which should have felt charming and intimate, became claustrophobic corridors. Every cafe, every little shop, had a line. And inside, you'd be packed in so tightly you could barely move. The romantic idea of discovering a hidden gem, a secret local spot, felt like an impossible fantasy. It seemed every hidden gem had already been discovered, geotagged, and shared with millions. This brings me to my next point, the authenticity problem. When a city becomes this popular, a strange thing happens. It starts to perform a version of itself. The culture that drew people in the first place gets packaged and sold until it becomes a caricature. Souvenir shops all sell the exact same mass-produced trinkets. Restaurants with multi-language menus serve up generic, overpriced versions of what should be incredible local cuisine. I walked past so many places offering traditional local experience in bright neon letters, which is usually a sign that it's anything but. I felt like I was on a movie set, not in a living, breathing city. The locals I did see often looked weary, navigating the throngs of tourists just to go about their daily lives. It made me feel like an intruder, a part of the problem. Was my desire to see this famous place contributing to the erosion of the very culture I came to appreciate? It's a complicated question, and one I wrestled with the entire trip. I found myself craving a genuine interaction. A simple conversation that wasn't transactional, but those moments were incredibly rare. City's soul felt like it was for sale, and I wasn't sure I wanted to buy it. Then there's the cost. Everything, and I mean everything, was incredibly expensive. A simple cup of coffee near a major landmark could set you back a small fortune. A bottle of water, a quick snack, the entrance fees to museums and attractions that all added up at an alarming rate. It felt like there was a tourist tax on every single item. Nows, I expect to spend money when I travel, but this felt different. It felt exploitative. The pricing seemed designed to squeeze every last euro out of the millions of visitors passing through. This constant financial pressure took away from the simple joys of travel. I found myself second-guessing every purchase. Is this gelato really worth 10 euros? Can I find a cheaper bottle of water a few streets over? Instead of enjoying the moment, I was constantly doing mental math, which created a background hum of stress. the magic of being in a beautiful foreign city was constantly being punctured by the reality of my shrinking budget. It's hard to feel romantic and inspired when you feel like you're being ripped off at every turn. And maybe this is the biggest reason for my regret. The entire experience felt incredibly inauthentic. It was like I was consuming a product, not experiencing a place. The trip was a series of transactions, queues, and carefully managed photo opportunities. It lacked spontaneity, it lacked genuine discovery, and most of all, it lacked a soul. The city's identity had been so commercialized that the real place, the home for millions of people with their own lives and stories, was almost impossible to find underneath a glossy tourist veneer. I spent my evenings looking out my window, watching the crowds thin as the sky turn from orange to deep blue. It was only in those quiet moments, when the city finally seemed to exhale, that I could glimpse the beauty I had come for. The silent silhouette of the rooftops, the distant sound of a church bell, the warm glow from a single apartment window. These were the moments that felt real. But they were fleeting. And they were few and far between. They were whispers of the city I had hoped to find, but they were drowned out by the noise of mass tourism. So, do I regret it? Yes, in a way. I regret buying into the hype. I regret not looking for a different kind of experience, one that was maybe less glamorous, but more meaningful. This trip taught me a valuable lesson. The most famous places aren't always the best places. The must-see lists often lead to must-wait-in-line realities. Travel isn't about ticking boxes and recreating Instagram photos. It's about connection to a place, to its culture, and to its people. And in this city, I just couldn't find that connection. I left feeling drained, disappointed, and a little bit sad. Not just for my own wasted vacation, but for the city itself. I wonder if it's possible for a place to be loved to death. Maybe the best way to love a city like this is to not go at all. Or, at the very least, to go with different expectations. To look for the quiet corners, to support truly local businesses, and to remember that we are guests in someone else's home. Maybe then, you can find the magic that I missed. Thanks for watching.